Powerhouse, presented by Alliant Energy.
Using natural daylight to light your home is the innovation behind the solar tube. Keith Johnson with Brighter Concepts joins us. And Keith, tell us a little bit about the concept of solar tube.
Well, what a solar tube does is it takes the natural light from outside, uses a dome that's got a lens built into it to get the early morning light, the late afternoon light. And then once the light gets into it, it bounces off a highly reflective tube down through an attic into the home below, whatever room needs to be done, dark bathroom, kitchen, living room.
Keith, I've been impressed since I first saw the solar tube, but it seems like it gets better and better. And I know you've added, what, a Fresnel lens, and that's one of the improvements. Tell us about that.
Well, the Fresnel lens, what solar tube did years ago was they originally had a dome. The dome was designed, it was clear. Low levels of light, the sunrise, the sunset, the winter sun would pass through it. With this Fresnel lens, now we're gathering the low levels of light, we're directing it into the tube, so we're actually maximizing the performance from sun up to sundown, all 4 seasons.
Now, I'm sure our viewers, consumers, concerned about water getting in, but I know you've made some improvements in that area as well, right?
That's correct. Over the years, being the first solar tube installer in the state of Wisconsin, we were challenged with the winter climates. One of the things that we had to come up with was a way for the moisture to weep back out onto the roof instead of back into the solar tube. So one of the things that, through several prototypes and studies, we came up with was a gutter system with weep holes. So if moisture does get up underneath this dome, it's able to pass back out onto the roof instead of into the consumer's home.
Now, Keith, I know you can do solar tube on ranch houses, 2 stories, get into commercial as well, right?
Absolutely. We can actually even do basements. This unit can run approximately 30 feet and have 5% light reduction. The film on the inside is designed by 3M. It's designed for visible light transfer. It's very, very similar to fiber optics. So with it, presently we are doing neat little things like warehouses. No lights on. This last week we finished an M&I bank.
And just solar tubes?
All solar tubes. Natural light, 100% energy savings.
Energy savings, that takes me into energy efficiency, that you keep improving solar tube. Let's take a look at what you're doing there.
Originally when the solar tube came out, they came out with a single pane diffuser, which was fine, and they were saying, well, not a lot of energy efficiencies going through anything this small to begin with, but as we had to increase our standards, we started introducing more and more lenses that are built in within the tube. So now we have actually a quadruple lens that goes within the tube, which gives you 3 air chambers. With the U value decreasing as much as it has, we qualify for the energy tax savings. We're also a
Energy Star
member, and we have been for many years.
Our Powerhouse viewers always looking for that Energy Star. You bet. Always also interested in cost.
The costs start about $500 completely installed. And over this last year with the tax credits, prices have dramatically decreased. We're now down under $400 if a homeowner takes advantage of the tax credits for their personal home. It's a great time to be buying.
Solar Tube has also gotten into solar attic fans. Tell us about that.
Well, our installers get to go up in a lot of hot attics, and as we go up in hot attics, we see a lot of damage in homes. We hear about a lot of energy costs skyrocketing on air conditioning. We see mold, we see mildew, we see frost on people's insulation. If one was to put in a solar-powered attic fan, no electrician is needed, no permits needed to be pulled, and once this unit is installed from sun up to sundown, it's just kind of a constant flow of air that's going through your attic. It's going to reduce the air conditioning bills in the summertime and eliminate problems such as ice dams and mold and mildew and other terrible things that can happen in attics.
Energy efficiency, we're always interested in that. Again, it's the solar tube. Keith Johnson, thanks for joining us today. Megan, this has been a great experience.
Oh, it certainly has.
You know, it was terrific to talk to Steve Thomas of Renovation Nation this morning.
It really was, and he told us that if you plan on going green, you need to remember 5 things.
The 5 rings of green are energy, and that's just about the energy that it takes to maintain the house going forward, heating, cooling, lighting, and so on. Workmanship, that's the sum total of all the details that go into building the house. If you detail it right, then it won't fall apart in 10 years, and if you detail it correctly, then it'll last well into a century. Materials is the 3rd ring, and that encompasses the sum total of the energy that goes into finding, mining, transporting, cutting, processing, and ultimately installing the materials that go into the house. So it's a pretty big bubble. Then there's health, which is the overall health equation of the house, indoor air quality, off-gassing of materials. That's a really big concern. And finally, design. Design is where it all comes together. You want to build a house ultimately that, or renovate a house so that it resonates with the neighborhood, so you're comfortable living in it. It's not bigger than you want it to be. Design really makes all the other bubbles work together.